the sugar dust is flying. There's going to be sugar dust everywhere. Oh, this is frightening a little bit. Look at that. Look how goop. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, my arm is getting tired. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Carly, and if you're new here, I make everything gluten-free and vegan. I'm so excited to share with you guys what we're gonna be making. White chocolate, strawberry, muffins / squares. We're going to start off by making our strawberry jam. If you have a favorite jam that you want to use, by all means, go ahead. This recipe actually was supposed to be raspberry. We are more of a strawberry people. For this recipe, we're going to need both of our flours, gluten-free oats, baking powder, salt, flax meal, cane sugar, frozen strawberries, no fresh today, cornstarch, white chocolate chips, our vegan butter, coconut condensed milk, our unsweetened soy milk, unsweetened coconut yogurt, and lemon juice and some water. To make our strawberry jam, we're going to need strawberries, of course. I'm using frozen. You can use fresh strawberries, of course. So we need 1 cup of our strawberries. And we're going to be putting them into this pot because we're going to be boiling it down. 3/4 cup of water. I'm gonna put this on the stovetop over medium heat and grab my masher, and I'm going to just mash as we heat it up. If you have fresh, just go ahead and mash them right now. Now that we're all mashed up, I'm going to bring it to a simmer and then let it simmer for about 3 to 5 minutes. Really get that water infused with the strawberries. Our strawberries, mashed strawberries and water is ready, so we're going to strain. Oh, this is frightening a little bit. And the goal is to end up with 1 cup of our strawberry juice, and then we'll have little gross discards left. Uh-oh, uh-oh. I'm just going to take a spatula to try to move this around and get it dripping a little bit faster through here. It looks like a little chewed up piece of gum. I would say there's probably nothing nutrient-wise or anything. I think this is probably just purely like fiber, so I don't know if you could actually use this at all. But we are left with 2/3 cup. So we're going to add enough water to make it into 1 cup of juice. There, that's about good. I've just rinsed the pot that we had everything in prior, and we're going to add in the remainder of the ingredients for the strawberry jam. 3/4 cup of our cane sugar, 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We'll give it a little mix here together. Let's throw back in our strawberry juice here. So I'm gonna grab a whisk. We're gonna put this back on the stove top and bring it to a boil. Only about 3 to 5 minutes, whisking the whole time until it gets nice and thick, and then we'll remove it from the heat. This happens really quick, y'all, so you want to really make sure you're keeping an eye while it's coming up to a boil and just keep whisking it. You see how it's this light pink color right now? It's going to turn into this very dark red color, believe it or not, but it happens in like blink of an eye. So just keep whisking. We're almost at a boil now, so this is where we have to be really careful and make sure we're whisking. Okay, I've turned it off, but I am just letting it sit here on the burner and going to just let it bubble and thicken to the desire I want it. It's almost there. That is looking good, y'all. We have a nice syrupy jam texture. 6 teaspoons of ground flax or flaxseed meal and 6 teaspoons of water. And then we're gonna set it aside and make sure it gets all gel-like and gooey. The recipe calls for castor sugar, which is more of a fine ground sugar. Another part does call for coconut sugar, which is not finely ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the amounts of sugar in the recipe that it calls for, and I'm gonna pop them into my blender. I have a Vitamix. If you have a really high-powered blender, you can for sure pop the sugar in the blender and whip it till it's more of a finely ground sugar. It's not like icing sugar, but it's a little bit in between. You can choose not to do this, or if you have castor sugar on hand already, go ahead and use that. You can probably get away with using the granulated sugar. Since I have the means, I'm gonna blend it. Gonna have to wait till it settles down and we'll open it up. And the sugar dust is flying everywhere. Beware when you're doing this, if you do this, there's going to be sugar dust everywhere on everything. Now I didn't do the full amounts of everything. I just did about 1.5 cups, something like that. It's okay if we mix it a bit. Look at how fine and powdery we got it. Ooh, you know, beautiful. Starting with our dry ingredients, we're going to do 2 cups of 1:1 gluten-free flour, 1 cup of all-purpose gluten-free flour, 3 generous teaspoons of baking powder. I say generous because I'm just not measuring properly. With gluten-free stuff, you can kind of get away with adding a little bit more baking powder. 1.5 cups of our caster sugar. I didn't blend up quite enough, so we have a little bit of the granulated sugar just on top, which is totally fine. Whisk this together. I forgot how big of a recipe this is. We're going to hope this bowl is big enough, y'all. Ooh, look at that. Oh, it's so good. Let's combine all of our wet ingredients. Our flax jelly that we made earlier, it really just like became a little puck. For the yogurt, it says 2/5 of a container of yogurt. My question is, how big of a container of yogurt are we taking the 2/5 from? Because that's where it gets confusing. 650 grams. I literally just Googled what is 2/5 of 650 grams. It came out to be 260. A cup is about 250, so I'm gonna go with a heaping cup of yogurt. Here's our heaping cup, y'all. 1.5 tablespoons of our sweetened condensed coconut milk. I believe sweetened condensed oat milk exists as well, if you can have oats. Half a cup of room temperature vegan butter. 1.25 cups of plant milk. Alrighty, let's whisk this together as best as we can. And I think this bowl is like way too small, so hold on. Okay, much better. Because we want to make sure there's clumpies of butter, but we also want to make sure that the flaxseed is broken up and the sweetened condensed coconut milk also is nice and blended throughout here. So this is looking amazing. Before we combine the two, we're going to make our streusel topping. For our streusel, we're going to need 4 tablespoons of gluten-free flour. I'm just going to use the 1:1 gluten-free flour. You could probably use the all-purpose gluten-free flour as well. I think I have done both. I just have more 1:1 flour on hand. 3, 4. 1/3 of a cup of our caster sugar. 2/3 of a cup of gluten-free oats. It's okay with this streusel because it's just a topping. If you kind of have a little bit too much of oats, so I'm not going to be too hard on myself for spilling and overdoing it. And 1/3 of a cup of our vegan butter. I'm just going to use my knife, but you can use a fork, and just cut it in. We don't want it to be sandy like in some other circumstances. We definitely want chunks of butter, but obviously not this large of chunks. So I think I'm going to switch to a fork now just to make sure. Here is the final streusel. It's looking clumpy. It's looking delicious. One last thing to do before we can put everything together, okay? Our strawberries, I told you guys I was using frozen ones. They're very much not looking that frozen anymore, but these are way too big. Cut these down, chop them down smaller so they're more in a bite-sized fashion. You can also just grab a pair of kitchen scissors that are clean and just go ahead and chop away, snip away. All right, y'all, one last step is to coat these in some of the flour. The only thing I'm thinking is like there's so much juice because they defrosted so much. I don't know if this is gonna work, but we're gonna give it a shot. So I'm just gonna take some of our flour mixture. Oh gosh. Okay, let's start with like 2 scoops and try to just coat these so that basically they don't bleed through and our whole batter doesn't turn red on us. And normally this works really well with fresh and frozen berries. I think this is going to work as well though, so I think we'll be okay. And we're going to add our wet to our dry and hope that this is not too small of a bowl. Using a spatula or a wooden spoon, we're going to mix this together gently, not trying to overmix it. Okay, we are, oh, that was a big blob of flour that still exists in the bottom. Watch out for pockets of flour, y'all. We're looking good to add the remaining ingredients. Last but not least, I'm gonna do our white chocolate chips. I'm gonna do about half a cup, so this is a quarter, so I'm gonna do 2 of these. I honestly kind of feel like a mad scientist right now for some reason. Let's give this another fold to incorporate our final ingredients. I think this might just end up with a nice strawberry swirl. It's looking really perfect. This is a point where you really want to watch out for over mixing, y'all. We're good. Let's do our muffins first. Alright, y'all, we're gonna go with 2/3 of the way full. I believe last time I totally overfilled them, like way too much. And they just like all came poofing over the edge and I was like, no. So I'm gonna try to not do that because you have to remember we need space for a little bit of jam and also our streusel to go on top. We'll aim for a little drizzly, dollopy, whatever you feel. Let's grab our streusel and top. My goal is to just cover up the top, give it a nice little layer. Okay, those are looking amazing. OMG, you guys, I have so much batter. This might be too much batter. Well, let's find out, I guess. Smooth her out. Jam time. Lines, and then we can drag it through. Now I don't want to do too much of this as well because it is adding additional liquid to our recipe. Let's do a little swirly action. There's no method. Do what you think is cute. Streusel. Alright, we're gonna pop both of these in the oven, yes both, at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 12 minutes. And then after that, we're going to reduce it down to 320 degrees Fahrenheit for another 16 to 18. This one's gonna take way longer though, so I will pull the muffins out after that time and leave this guy in. Alrighty, y'all, look at our muffins. So I ended up, after the 12 minutes, I did 18, and then I thought, you know what, I don't know. When I pulled them out, did the toothpick test, I was like, maybe I'll just leave them in for 2 more minutes because that big pan is in there. Maybe it slowed it down, cooking a little bit, whatever. So we did about 20 minutes for these guys, and I just took them out and they look amazing. We're gonna let them cool in the pan for about 10 minutes, then pop them out. Oh my gosh, you guys. Look at how beautiful. Look at how browned. I guess I maybe could have tried to leave the muffins in even longer to see if they would brown like this, but like, I toothpick tested. I ended up putting it on for an extra 10 minutes, so I'll give you the total when I figure it out. But these are beautiful. They smell so good. Alrighty, y'all. I believe they're cool now. Just the muffins. So let's cut in, and also when I removed them, they're really buttery greasy on the bottom, so just beware of that and don't like go on putting them down on things that cannot be greasy, if you know what I mean. So they're coming off the wrapper pretty good. Ooh, ooh, is that cooked? We are looking moist. Look at the bubbles and then the layer of the jam. Ooh, ooh. Oh my god. Okay, taste test time. Let's grab a little piece of our friend. It's giving like strawberry rhubarb pie. No rhubarb. It's like so spongy, like a strawberry crisp. Oh my god, this is so good. And this drizzle's a little crunchy, or like chewy on top. So freaking good. I'll see you when we cut up the big pan. Alrighty, y'all. Clay's convinced me to cut it open so we can try and compare, because I'll grab one of the muffins here are lighter in color. So he wants to know. So I cut a chunk here and let's take a peek. Ooh, no, it looks exactly the same. Gooey, sloppy, no, just kidding. Gooey on the inside, kind of. That's what I mean, it's giving that strawberry. It's the strawberries, they've just leaked out everywhere. And that's what we have. But you see the air bubbles, you see them. So we have a really nice browning on the outside of these ones. And yeah, delicious. And that will be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you try out the recipe. It is very strawberry, very moist, very much delicious. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!